Hi and welcome back to my little walkthrough of Time of Crisis. Before I continue, I really want to thank you guys for all the awesome comments I received on YouTube, Board Game Geek, on my Facebook page. Really appreciate it. Really great stuff. Okay, but I think without further ado, let's get back into business. One further clarification, because there was one question, and one very good question, to be honest. I think it was on the Geek, and yeah, you pretty much asked me, why do you go for those neutral provinces? Why shouldn't you go and take the province of another player away? That's relatively easy, because each unit that's present in the capital of, let's say, the region or the province that you're going to take, or each, let's say, foreign unit there, will increase the number of votes in order to replace the governor. So here in Pannonia you don't need 2 votes, no, you need 2 more, because the red player has 2 units here. Then you would need 4 votes in total, and that's really kind of tough, at least during the, let's say, first 1 or 2 turns. After that, you, of course, it's basically up to you and everything is possible, but really I would suggest reaching out for those neutral provinces first in order to really secure you some income, in order to get some of those cool little influence cards up there. But I think that was more or less it. Yeah, let's get back to the blue player, and he is in a kind of tricky situation, because Britannia was invaded by the Franks. So if he doesn't do anything about it, he would lose 1 level of support at the end of his turn. And when this goes down to 0 and it is his turn, he would automatically lose control over Britannia. So there's definitely something that he has to do. Good thing is there is something that he can do. But first things first, let's go into the upkeep phase. But nothing to do there, at least not for the blue player. Let's roll for the crisis. Okay, that's a 9. The Goths will be activated, and yeah, we don't even have to change the camera position here. So first of all, we will activate one of those Goths, and then we would roll those dice again on a 1 or 2 on the black die. Those guys will invade. No, in this case they will not invade, because this number is higher than the currently active Goths. Okay, that was the crisis phase. Let's move into the action phase. It was a very good move that blue was going for this tribute card. So the first card that he will play is Tribute. Flip all barbarian counters of a single tribe to their inactive side in any one province. Flip barbarians defend as normal, but do not cause any support loss. And that's definitely a good thing, as this will buy us some time, or the blue player some time. So at the, let's say, end of this support phase here, we will not lose any support in Britannia. Okay, that's definitely a good thing. We can still use the value points on those cards. So in this case, you don't have to decide whether you want to go for the value or for the, let's say, special ability of a card. No, you get both in this game. Isn't that nice? So I think with 2 Senate points, he's going to recruit a new governor, and he will go for the level 2 governor here. That's exactly 2 Senate points. So maybe during one of his next rounds, he may go for another province or so, maybe even Italia. Who knows? Okay, this leaves him with those cards, so 3 military points and 1 populous point. I think with this populous point, there is nothing he can do with, so let's put it aside for now. That leaves him with 3 military action points. I think he will go for a general. Yeah, that's his level 1 general, or should he directly go for a level 2 general? Because there's not much he can do with those cards anyway at this point in time. I think it's not enough to go after those barbarians later on. That's now a tricky question, to be honest. Yeah, why not? I want to show you some stuff. So I will spend 2 of my 3 points in order to go for the level 2 general. I can do that, so maybe during one of my next turn I only have 1 point left for my generals, and then I can go for the cheaper one. I think that's definitely not a bad idea. And I think with the remaining military action point, yeah, let's create a new army. So let's take this general here and place him into the capital of Britannia. Of course, we get to get a new legion for that. They all have different names, but apart from that, they all play the same. So let's place those guys here. Let's place the newly recruited general on the top of this. And now we get at least a chance to maybe take out those barbarians in maybe the next turn. I really have to do something about it, that much is clear, because yeah, my tribute card is gone. I could go for a new tribute card, but I think I will not get it into my hand on time. So I really have to do something about it. But yeah, that's already the end of my action phase. Keep in mind, I still have this yellow card, which I haven't played, but with one populous point, there is nothing I can do. So yeah, let's keep it for the next round, I suppose. But the good thing is I always get to check my draw pile, my available pile, my discard pile, and then I can still decide which card I want to get rid of. So if I see, oh no, let's go for this strategy during the next turn, I could also say, why not? Let's put it into my discard pile as well. But now we would go into the support check phase. We have some barbarians in Britannia, but good thing is they are inactive, so I will not lose any support. There aren't any pretenders again. We would gain legacy, and as blue still controls 2 regions, he will move ahead 2 points, or he gained 2 legacy points here. And that's pretty much it for, let's say, all those actions. Now we could buy or trash cards. I still have an income of 3 pretty much, so the sum of all of my support levels here. And this time I wanted to buy a stronger military card, the Castra. Castra marker is something that helps me, let's say, defending my units, so that's good. But on top of this, it also provides me 2 military action points, and this is definitely valuable. Keep in mind, I could also go for this flanking maneuver, which is great, but then this would be doubled. Right now I only have 3 of those points because I have fewer than 3 regions right now I'm governing, so that's a 3 here. So yeah, let's go for the Castra card. Let's put it onto my discard pile for now. And keep in mind, I can trash cards, any cards from my hand, by spending 3 of my, let's call it, influence points. But right now, I think I first want to get some more cards before I start trashing them. Then we would flip inactive barbarians, yeah, to their active side. So again, they are starting to get a threat. And I think I decided I will discard this card and take the remaining 5 cards from my available pile. It's not really the best move, but I think I will not be able to use 3 populous points. I think I will either place a militia or I will raise the support level in Britannia. So I think a 3rd point would be a waste. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of the blue player's turn. Over to red. There's nothing to do during the upkeep phase. No. Let's roll for crisis. That's the Alemanni. Let's flip another to the active side here as well. Let's roll again. Again, if the black die shows a 1 or a 2, they will move. No, they will not move. That was the crisis step. Let's move into the action phase, and I was wrong. This is the yellow player, of course. I saw so many red cards, I was confused for a while. He also has a tribute, but I think he won't use it. I could also use this card to help the blue player, but right now, I don't think so. So we will just spend those 2 Senate points in order to recruit my level 2 governor here. Not really a level, it's just, I don't know. The more governors you control, the more expensive they get. It's always the same. Then we will also go for our level 1 general here. So that's 1 point. But instead of building a new army right away, I think yellow wants to add a new legion to the existing army. Right now there is 1 legion and 1 militia. So in order to put a 2nd legion in here, I have to spend 2 points. For the 3rd it would be 3, and so on. So that's the 2nd legion. Militia doesn't count in this case, so he will spend 2 red points. Let's go for another legion. 20 Valeria. Let's just put them on top of those. They all look the same, but they have all different names. I think I already explained that to you. So in case whatever a barbarian will attack, I think he has a good chance to try to take them out. with 2 legions and 1 militia. I think he has a good chance to drive them away. This also leaves the yellow player with 1 populous point here. I think he will keep this card for sure. He's not threatened right now by any barbarian, so I think there's a good chance that he may be able to build an improvement during his next turn. But of course, first of all, we would go into the support phase. There is nothing to support. There is no Pretender Empire phase, so he will also get his 2 legacy points. He has 3 influence points as well. I think all the players currently do, so he will go for a quester. Yeah, I think that's good for him, really. This gives you a good opportunity to build those improvements, and building improvements give you victory point or legacy points, and also can help you or give you some protection from incoming barbarians. Okay, there aren't any inactive barbarians in his provinces. There aren't any mob counters, so let's draw up to 5 cards. We will go for 2 populous points and 2 Senate points. The remaining Senate card will go back to the active pile, and that concludes the turn of the yellow player. And now it's the red player's turn. Again, we can skip the upkeep phase. Yep, that's the case. So let's roll for the crises. That's the 6. The Franks will get activated again. But keep in mind, only the inactive Franks in the homeland will get activated. Once those guys have invaded, they stay there and be there for good until they are defeated. They don't attack you, they don't do anything harmful to you other than reducing your support in a region when they are active. But that's about it in respect to hostility. But nevertheless, we have to activate an additional Frank because they could still go to Britannia. And then we have to roll again. Now it's only 1 active Frank, so we have to roll a 1 on the black guy. And wow, guess what? It's a 1. And again, this guy will go to Britannia first. Oh man, he's so unlucky. 3 is the maximum, so there can't be any more Franks in Britannia right now. If another Frank would go to Britannia, he would then go to Gallia first. But yeah, that's definitely bad news for the blue player. But yeah, that's how things go. And yeah, this is the end of the crisis phase. I think there's nothing meaningful we can do with a military action point because we, let's say, recruited a new general and formed a new army during his first turn. But I think let's use the quester for now. First of all, we will spend those 2 points in order to increase the support level in Pannonia. But that's not all what this quester card can do. It also allows us to place a quester marker in a province to govern that does not already have one. And while the marker is there, a die roll of a 3+ is needed to gain a vote when attempting a place governor action. That's not bad at all. So let's place this quester into Thracia for now. And yeah, makes it really much more difficult for the other players to replace the governor there. Overall, we need 2 votes plus 1 for the legion. That's 3, and a 2+ is no longer sufficient. We needed 3+ in order to gain a vote. So things got significantly more difficult for the other players, but the quester will be removed at the start of the red player's turn. Next, we will spend our remaining 3 populous action points in order to build an improvement. And I think I want to build the Limes, or the Limes, like we used to say in Germany. Limes protects you from incoming barbarians. So all invading barbarians that are running through Thracia will get inactivated. Of course, they will still activate at the end of the player's turn in your province, whatnot, but they will not start their, let's say, evil doings activated. So this always buys you at least 1 more round before you have to deal with those guys. And on top of this, the improvement here also provides an additional legacy point during every round. So that's really, really huge. I think that's it in respect to actions. Because, as I said, there is not much we can do with the red action. We could move an army, for example. But right now I'm feeling pretty confident that we don't have to do that. We could go into Macedonia, but I think that's also not really necessary for now. No. So those cards have all been played. Let's place those into the discard pile. Let's go into the support check phase. There's nothing to check there. Red will get 3 legacy points because he just built an improvement. 1, 2, and 3. Hooray! He's in the lead. Isn't that nice? And yeah, then we would buy or trash cards. I think we are not going to trash any cards for now. Let's also go for a tribute card this round. Yeah, why not? Let's go for it. Let's do one more round. And yeah, I decided which card to draw. Up to 5 cards for the red player pretty much off camera in order to speed things up. You will see what I decided to go for. Over to the blue player again. There is nothing to do during his upkeep phase, so we can directly jump into the crisis phase. Let's see, that's the 11. Again, the Alemanni will get activated. This is now getting interesting because we have already 3 active Alemanni available in their homeland. So let's roll again. Now 1, 2, 3 would be sufficient to send those guys away, and I think red is rather lucky. They will not get activated, not this turn, but the next time there will be 4 already. So yeah, things can get messy anytime soon. And then it's over to the blue player. I think with his 2 populous points, he really has to increase the support level in Britannia. Otherwise, he would lose that region. He could have gone for a militia unit in Britannia there and go after those Franks, but with 3 Franks that's already difficult, but he didn't have any military action cards, so he could not have started an attack in the first place. So I think that's the best he can do. He knows he will go down by 1 at the end of this round, but he will still control Britannia, so that's not a bad thing. Now he has still 3 Senate action points and 1 governor available, so he will totally go for an additional province. And now things start to get interesting, because now he could go for Asia. He knows he has 3 dice to roll, because he can spend 3 blue Senate action points, pretty much. 1 on the die is not sufficient, but he only needs 2 votes, so he can, if that would be the end result, he would have taken control over Asia. Of course, he could go into negotiations with the yellow player and say, maybe I could go to Syria. But if he goes to Syria right now, he will reduce the level of support in Italia as well. So whenever the neutral governor is losing another province, or the governor in Italia, then he would also lose 1 level of support. So the next player to go there could be the emperor of the whole empire by only spending or getting 4 votes instead of 6. And I think that's something that he doesn't want to do at this point in time. So he says, sorry guy, I think I want to get Asia from you. Don't be mad with me, that's the best I can do. Let's roll 3 dice. Yeah, that's definitely good enough. Here are 2 votes, that's the 3rd vote. We can roll this again. Wow, 4 votes, 5 votes. Wow, he could have gone for Italia, nearly. But yeah, that's really a pity. So this governor goes now back to the yellow players' available leaders pool, so he can use this guy again. But unfortunately, he will now be replaced by this guy here. Normally you would lose 1 level of support, but you can never go below a 1 when you're claiming a province freshly, pretty much. Yeah, that was a pretty mean move by the blue player, but I think that's the best he could do. It's also not good that whatever Asia is so remote from his other provinces, but yeah, I think that's still the best he could do this round. Those were all of his actions. Then we would go into the support check phase. Right now there are active barbarians in Britannia, so he will lose 1 level of support. Right now that's not really a problem, but it will at the start of his next turn. Now we would go or check for expand Pretender Empire phase. He would gain legacy, and of course, as he now controls 3 provinces, the blue player will get 1, 2, 3 legacy points as well. So things are really starting to change as of 2nd or 3rd round. Normally, and then it would be time to buy or trash some cards. And in total he has 4 influence points, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's still the case. He controls 3 provinces, so he can go for those level 3 cards. And I think he will go for the mob. He has 1 more point left, but I think there's nothing he can do with that. So he will totally go for one of those cards. which he will place onto his discard pile. The same would be true for his card. And then as of the start or at the end of this round, he can completely rethink his strategy, because he can pick and choose from all of his cards in the discard pile. So those will now get more or less active cards. And I think there's a good chance that he can get rid of those Franks during his next round or so. Over to the yellow player, who is pretty unhappy, let's put it that way. He's nothing to do during his upkeep phase. No, that's only the red player, so let's roll for the crisis. That's a 10, that's the Goths again. So let's activate an additional Goth. Let's roll those dice again. They will also now march on a 1, 2, 3 on the black guy. And that's a 2, though this means 2 of those 3 active Goths will now move to Galatia or Syria. And that's so unfortunate for the yellow player. Wow, that's tough. So 2 of those guys will now move right into Galatia. Man, is that tough. He doesn't have alignments or whatnot, so he has to live with those guys. Good thing is he has, let's say, a considerable army there, but I think, oh man, he doesn't have any military cards. Oh man, 1 point would be sufficient, then he would get rid of those Goths relatively easily. Pretty sure about that. Man, this really hurts, but yeah, this was already the end of his crisis phase. Yeah, let's do some actions. And I think, yeah, he will retaliate in Asia here. So he will spend 2 Senate points. He has more than enough governors available right now. But keep in mind, he must not roll a 1 right now, because he's only rolling 2 dice. So things are getting a little bit more tense down there. But let's see how things turn out. No, that's good enough, unfortunately. So again, this guy goes back to the blue player. And yeah, for him it doesn't really matter. 1 of his governors will be replaced back to Asia. It's really important to have at least 2 of those provinces, because this is the only real opportunity to give you some more higher valued cards. So that's really important to remember that. This was his first action. And now he has still 3 populous points. Originally he was really thinking of building an improvement, but he could also increase the support, which he would lose right away. So I'm not really sure if this is what he should do. No, I think he will stick to the plan. So he will spend his 3 populous points in order to go for an amphitheater here. The value of a mob in a province containing an amphitheater does not increase during the end of turn phase. And he saw that the blue player was buying a yellow mob card, so I think he says, yeah, why not? Let's consider building an amphitheater. It also gives you 1 additional legacy point, because all improvements do so. Those were all of his actions. Let's check for support. We can stay right here. So he will lose 1 level of support because there are active barbarians in Galatia at this point in time. Next he would gain legacy. That's 1, 2, 3 points. So he's right next to the blue player. He can still buy or trash cards. He has 2 influence points, so he cannot trash any cards right now. But he was not going to anyway, so I think he will go for a Castra card here. Okay, this was more or less the end of the yellow player's turn. So let's move over to red. He has to do something during the upkeep phase. Hooray! And that's to remove this Questa marker there. That's already the end of the upkeep phase. Let's check for any crises. And 7. 7 is an event. Wow. Okay, let's see what we get. And now we will replace the Plague of Cyprian here. Didn't really have effect, so let's see what we get. Okay, that's a barbarian leader, Ardashir. Place the Ardashir counter in the Sassanid homeland. If Ardashir is in the Sassanid homeland, when an invasion check is successful, all active units will invade instead of the number of rolled units. Okay, that's the token for him. So let's place him here. He hits on a roll of 4+, but he rolls 2 dice. So when those 2 guys would, let's say, invade and someone would attack those guys, they would then roll 3 dice in total. And yeah, he would give us some benefits. He would get rid of barbarian leaders and additional benefits, which is pretty cool. They're tough to beat, but they will also provide you some goodies. Okay, over to the action phase, which will be pretty boring, I guess. With 3 cent points, he will go for his level 3 governor here. He has to have someone available. And with 2 military action points, I think he will add an additional legion to this army here. So it's 1 militia, 1 legion. So it costs us 2 military action points. First of all, he could be very successful in barbarians, but it's also a good chance for him to move to Italia, because the more legion he brings to the capital of Italia, the fewer votes he needs in order to get the emperor. So there's a good chance. And yeah, that's already the end of his round, I suppose. So he would just gain his legacy points, which are still 3. So that's 1, 2, and 3. He's still in the lead. Hooray! Next, support check and everything. I think we already skipped through that. There's nothing he has to consider. He can still buy cards. And I think he will go for an additional tribute card. Having too many of those blue cards can be kind of problematic at some point in the pile, because you don't do that often, to be honest, but still, it doesn't hurt, especially not at the start of the turn. The higher rank cards definitely provide you additional abilities, but of course this tribute is always helpful. And he went through his total complete available pile, so he gets to choose his cards, which is also a good thing. Let's do, I think, one more round, or maybe partly one more round. So we go back to the blue player. There's nothing to do for the upkeep, so let's roll for the crisis. That's a 9. The Goths get activated again. So let's flip one of those guys. Let's roll those dice again. On 1 or 2 they will activate, and no they don't. That was the crisis phase. Okay. Let's see how things turn out for the blue player. First of all, he will play this card for 2 points. And yeah, this will pretty much add a legion to his army present in Britannia. And he can also place a castra, and I think he will place this castra on top of this army, because he knows this army will attack, and when the army attack, it will lose this castra token. So it's more protected if someone will go after Gallia, which is not very likely, but yeah, why not do that? That's now really tricky, to be honest. So he will spend his 2 populace points in order to recruit a militia here in Britannia as well. So the force gets stronger, but if he is not successful now, he really has a problem against those Franks. But yeah, he has to do something. He could have increased the support level and just go for it, but I think he wants to be bold, he wants to move out, he wants to take out those Franks, because he can get really a lot of legacy points for doing this. Then he will play his level 3 card. First of all, he will spend those 3 points in order to buy or build this improvement here. Gives him additional victory point. Yeah, you know the drill. And then he would also be allowed to place a mob counter in a province that does not already have one. And right now, he really feels that the red player is the biggest threat. So he will place a mob counter here in Pannonia. Right now, it's not that bad. It will reduce the buying power in Pannonia. So Pannonia will now only produce 1 influence rather than 2. So for each map counter present here. But if the mob counters ever go to the same level as the support level, then pretty much you will also lose control over your province. So this is really something that you want to take care of at some point in time. Well, that's already a very pretty dick move from the blue player, but yeah, I think it does make sense. And then with the last card, with his last military action point, he will now declare an attack or initiate a battle. He will use all of his troops here. Keep in mind, militia do attack when they really try to defend their homeland, but they will not move to another region, for example. But still, they do count when attacking those Franks here, and they will definitely do. So let's take those counters, let's prepare the battlefield. And battle is always simultaneous, but I will roll it whatever side by side, and we'll then note down the hits, and then we'll trigger those. The 2 white dice are for those my legions here. They would hit on a roll of a 3+, whereas the militia only hits on a roll of a 5+. So let's see how well we do now. And wow, that was really crappy. Man, only 1 hit. Are you kidding me? Okay, next we would have to roll for the other side. So we will just keep this 6 here. So, oh no, wait, hey man, that's a... I nearly forgot. That's an exploding die, of course. We can roll this again. Oh man, I nearly forgot. But get worse. Okay, it's only 2, so never mind. It's still 1 hit. Next, the Franks will also attack pretty much, or will hit back. They would hit on a roll of a 4+, so they are slightly better than the militia, but slightly, let's say, worse than those legions here. And okay, that's 1 hit as well. There's no exploding die, nothing bad would happen on a roll of a 1. And unfortunately, of course, ties go to the defender. Wow, this hurts. We got rid of one of those Franks. Fortunately, we don't get an additional legacy point because we didn't win this game. So this guy goes back to the homeland being inactive. And there is a priority order in which I have to take my losses here, and I have to start with militia. The next would be barbarians. So I can hire barbarians in this game to fight by my side, but in this case, yeah, it's clearly the militia that goes back to the cup. And next then I would have to flip this to the, let's say, wounded side here. They would only hit on a 5+, but there we can pretty much train this army back to full health right now. Yeah, this was really, really bad because we were not able to defeat those barbarians. We reduced them by 1, but that really doesn't change things at all, to be honest. And those were all of his actions. Oh man, this really hurts. Yeah, let's go into the Czech support level. And yeah, guess what? We would lose 1 level of support because there is still an active tribe available. And yeah, those guys will stay here. And yeah, this guy will get sent back to the available leaders pool and will get replaced by a neutral governor. And this also means that the support level in Italia just went up. And that's such bad news for the red player who was really hoping to get emperor this turn. Oh man. This was really devastating for most of the players. Unbelievable. Then we go to the scoring phase, and right now he only has 1 more province left which he governs, but good thing is he built the improvement up there, so he would still score 1-2 points up there. Wow, this really does hurt. He still has 2 influence. The problem is he only controls or governs 1 province at this point in time. So he will not be able to afford any of those cards. And he can also not trash a card because this would also cost him 3 influence points. Man, this was really a bad move for him. But yeah, there's nothing I can do. So let's draw back up to his hand of 5 cards. Then let's quickly do the yellow player's turn. He doesn't have to do upkeep, so let's simply roll for the crises that sex the Franks again. Oh man. So let's activate one of those again. Let's roll for... No invasion here. Would have to roll a 1 here. Okay, let's do some action. So he will spend 2 points here. 1 point he will spend to form a new army. He still has 1 general and he will create a new army here in Asia in order to protect it somewhat. He still has 1 more point left, and with this point he then could go after the Goths, but he doesn't have to do that right away. First of all, he will also build his castra. Let's build the castra here because he also wants to attack there. Before we move on, I think he will also build an improvement here, and this time he will go for alliance 2 here in Asia. He has the Quester. He will also build a Quester, and I think he will build that Quester also here in Asia. So those points are completely done. Now it's tough. Now it's only 2 Goths. I think with the remaining point here, he will now also initiate a battle against those Goths. So let's prepare the battlefield once more. So overall, things are looking okay. Again, white dice are for the legions, black die is for the militia. Let's see. Okay, that's a 6. That's a hit. That's not a hit. We can roll this die again for an exploding die. That's an additional hit. So in total, we scored now 3 hits, which isn't bad, to be honest. So let's see how well those Goths do. Pretty bad, to be honest. They are pretty much destroyed now. So he was able to fend all of those guys off. Therefore, he will now gain 2 legacy points plus 1 legacy point for each barbarian tribe he was able to destroy pretty much. So in total, yellow just scored 4 additional legacy points, and that's really, really huge. And yeah, Galatia is safe again. So that was definitely a good move for him. And it's not, let's say, did not suffer any losses. Wow. He still has a lot of blue points, so he will play the tribute. He will not use the special ability because he has taken care of those barbarians, but of course he wants to replace that governor there. That's good news for the red player again, because he will auto-succeed. I think that's clear enough. So let's simply replace this guy. We don't have to roll any dice, but this again reduces the support level of Italia down to 3. Nothing bad will happen during the support phase, so let's jump into the legacy phase. Again, there aren't any pretenders right now, so he will score 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more legacy points now. Wow, this was a giant leap. 60 legacy points already. So you see that things are really getting very dramatic at some point in time. And yeah, that's pretty much it. No, he can still buy cards. Oh, how could I forget? And of course, in total, he has 3 influence points. He controls 3 provinces, so I think he will go for this flanking maneuver, and this gives him a reroll, so that's always a good thing. So yeah, let's take this card, put it into his discard pile. He cannot use it during the next turn, which is okay, I guess. And yeah, this concludes his round. Then it's red, nothing to do during the upkeep. Let's roll for the crisis. Oh, we will see an additional event, but keep in mind, Ardashir will stay where he is. We will just draw a new card. Oh wow, we have a foreign king, Priest King of Emesa. Place the Priest King counter in Syria. The Priest King reduces support in both Syria and Italia during the support check phase. Oh man, this hurts, but there is really not much that can be done right now. Oh man, this really hurts. Those foreign emperors, really, they rolled 3 dice. They also hit on a 4+, so they're really kind of tough to beat. This Priest King thingy really sucks, because again this interferes with the red player's turn. Oh man. But yeah, I think let's go for it anyway. Let's spend, yeah, all 6 of our points, because right now we need 6 votes in order to become the Emperor of Italia. So again, we don't have to roll here, because 6 votes is what we need. So we will replace this guy here, and we'll take our remaining governor, and we'll replace it onto the support level equal to the number of provinces that player currently controls, including Italia. And that's also a 3. So the other players also need now 6 votes, but keep in mind, a vote of we have to roll at least a 2+, not just a 1. That was pretty okay for him. So he's now Emperor of Italia. Wow, how cool is that? We can go for this tribute, but I think no, not. Then he will play his card here, the Questor, with a support level or populous action of 2. And I think he will, should he go for a militia in Italia, or should he increase the support level in Thracia by 1? No, let's play it safe. Let's place a militia counter in Italia. Even though there is no general here right now, it's governed by this guy here. And yeah, this also means that this militia is controlled by the red player. I can still place a Questa marker. And yeah, I think I want to stay Emperor for a little bit longer, so I will also place this Questa into Italia. Okay, that was not bad at all. Next we go into the support step, and as there is a foreign emperor on the map, the support level in Italia will also go down by 1. Yeah, this really sucks, but there's really not much we can do. There is no pretender empire. That's already kind of a good thing. And then we would gain some legacy. Right now we are the emperor. So we gain legacy points equal to the support level of Italia minus the number of pretender provinces. Right now there aren't any, so for that we already gain 2 more points. In theory, we would have been allowed to move our emperor turns 1 step ahead, but unfortunately, again, there is a foreign emperor somewhere on the map, so we are not allowed. So we are pretty much in a competition, so we are not fully, I don't know, confirmed yet, or I don't know how to put that, but I think you get the picture. So we are not allowed to progress. Still, we get the remaining legacy points for all the rest of our stuff. So we have still 3 provinces here. And we have 1 additional improvement. So in total, red player also scores 4 more points. It's okay, but he was really hoping for this emperor turns, because again, if you have the majority at the end of the game, you gain 10 more legacy points for this. So this can be really, really huge. He controls 3 provinces. He has more than enough. Not really enough. He's lacking 1 point now in order to trash a card and buy a card. But I think he really wants to go for a mob card here. So yeah, why not? Let's go for it. And this pretty much ends his active turn. During the end of turn, we would add 1 mob counter to regions where there is already a mob in your regions and where there is not an amphitheater. So in this case, this guy just gets flip mob 2. If the same would happen now in the support phase of the next turn, 2 support and 2 mobs, he would immediately lose control doing the support or doing his support step. So he still has 1 full turn in order to get rid of that mob counter. And there are various ways in order to do so. But I think I will end my walkthrough here and today. I really hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully some of the things became clear to you. Hopefully I haven't messed things up. I will definitely find 1 or 2 things during editing. It's pretty normal for me, but I really hope that you, let's say, kind of understands the overall flow of this awesome game. I cannot really repeat how much I like this game. Really a job well done. Hope to see you soon in one of my next videos, and yeah, until then, bye bye.